Hello and welcome to this video all about Festival of Quilts 2025. Festival of Quilts is the largest quilt show in Europe and it is held over 4 days in Birmingham, which is practically in the centre of the UK. There is absolutely loads to see at Festival of Quilts and I couldn't possibly show you it all, but I'm going to show you my highlights, so all of my favourite things. We're going to have a look around the stands to see some of the vendors. I'm going to give you a snapshot of the classes that I taught there. I actually taught 3 classes, so we'll talk a little bit about that. And then I'm going to show you the competition quilts, which were absolutely spectacular. So keep watching to the end to see those, and right at the end I'm going to put my very favourite one, which absolutely took my breath away. There was a lot of attention around this quilt, a lot of people were gathered around it, so many people talking about it, and rightly so because it really stood out. And it has over 50,000 1/4-inch hexagons in it, that's right. So do stay to the end to see that. So here is Ashmead Designs stand, always one of my favourite stands. It's the home of Hexiform. So many beautiful pieces on display for inspiration. I love Susie's designs, and she had every Hexiform shape you could imagine there available. This stand Cotton Fairy was just so cute. I absolutely love the little mice that were on display in the little house and all of the tiny items of furniture. It was just so sweet. So here are a few snippets of the classes that I taught. So this is my room set up with everything ready, and I'm so grateful to everyone who came to my classes. They were such lovely people. There was a really lovely vibe in each class, and it was just so nice to meet so many lovely people who really understand this craft, this passion for cutting up fabric and sewing it back together again. Some people travelled so far to come here. There were people from Canada, America, Australia. It was just incredible. Germany, Italy. It was a real international class, especially the first one I taught on the Friday, the miniature patchwork one. But it was just so nice to be in the company of such a lovely group of people. And again, if you came to my class, thank you so much for coming. It was a real pleasure. It was a real joy as well to see how everybody took the same kit but made something completely different, put the fabrics together in a different way, and yeah, it was just so lovely to see what people could create with it. I'd also like to give a big shout to a really lovely lady called Julia Busby who came to my class on Saturday, and she brought with her a hexagon sewing case that she'd made from my pattern, but for the front cover she had used 1/4-inch hexagons, and oh my word, isn't this absolutely stunning. I apologise for the flickering lights here, it's just in this clip. I'm not sure why it was doing it, but it's so beautiful, absolutely perfectly stitched together, and I love how she did the inside as well, and the trim that she used on the edge going around it, just absolutely stunning, and she was such a lovely lady, and it really made my day to see this. So onto the quilts. Here are the miniature quilts, which I always love going to see the miniature quilts. They really do capture my heart. There's just something so incredible about the tiny detail and the tiny stitching. They were spectacular this year. Moving on to the other categories now, which might be a little bit mixed up, but I just love this one, which was like the tumbling blocks, all made from Liberty, and I really love this quilt. So it was all hand quilted and it has embroidered flowers in it, which obviously really appeals to me, and I just loved, I think it's a Liberty print that they've used, or a Liberty quilting cotton as the floral, used all the way throughout, but I thought the hand quilting was exceptional on this. This is one that's really inspired me. This is the back of a quilt, and I love how they hung some of them so you could see the backs and the fronts. And here's another Liberty quilt, Liberty Stars. This one was really beautiful. So many gorgeous prints in there and beautifully stitched. So here's the first of a few hexagon quilts. This one was absolutely huge, must have been over 2 meters in width and height. It is absolutely ginormous, and this isn't the one that I mentioned at the beginning with the 1/4-inch hexagons. These are a bit bigger than that, but they're still pretty small. And overall, doesn't it just create such an incredible design? And I love that it's all in shades of blue. There's so much detail to it. It's a real epic quilt, this one, and it really did inspire me to see this. I absolutely loved this applique quilt with all of the different flowers in it. It's just a riot of colour, so much to look at, and the butterflies in it are actually, to me, they look like origami butterflies, which I think is such a clever idea, and they were really 3D and stood proud off the quilt. And yeah, I just thought this was really unique. So I'd just like to take a moment to thank Serious Readers for sponsoring today's video. Now, if you are in the market for a new light for your needlework so that you can really see what you're doing, then I highly recommend trying out a high definition light from Serious Readers. I have one here in the studio that is the tabletop version, and it's got the heavy base, so it's really sturdy, and I can move it to wherever I need it to be within the studio. And I have the same one at home, which is the floor standing model, and I just have it by my table there. And I find both to be completely invaluable. At the moment, it's the middle of the day, but if I'm working in the middle of the room away from the windows, it can be really difficult to see what I'm doing, especially when I'm working with really fine needles and threads, or when I'm trying to colour match thread for embroidery. So using the high definition light really makes such a difference. And that's because it uses daylight wavelength technology, and that replicates the daylight spectrum as closely as technically possible. And it just creates this really natural feeling light that's really easy on the eyes, and it really helps to reduce any eye strain and just creates this lovely atmosphere for stitching. If you'd like to find out more about the Serious Lights range, then there is a link in the description box below. And if you use the offer code EMMA, that will give you £150 off a high definition light and also free UK delivery. Thank you so much to Serious Readers for sponsoring today's video. So I really loved all of the detail in this quilt. So the tulips and the windmills, everything about it was just so lovely and so interesting. You could really stand and look at this one for such a long time because there was so much to look at. Another favourite of mine was this alphabet of flowers, which I just thought was such a lovely idea. So there is an applique flower block for a flower for every letter of the alphabet. Brilliant idea. They were beautifully stitched, and I absolutely loved the border on this one as well. So much detail in it, so many flowers. It was just wonderful. So another hexagon quilt, I really love this one. The hexagons are arranged into diamonds, and I just love the colours of the fabrics in this. It has quite a muted colour palette, but there's still a lot of colour in there, so really love this. Love for how it was quilted as well. So this next quilt is made by Andrea Ashwell, and she made my favourite quilt from last year. Her work really stands out, and I'll never forget her quilt from last year, but this one was incredible as well, and definitely one of my favourites. I love how she does this custom dense detailed quilting. She uses a long arm for it and lots of wadding to give it that extra texture, and this was just absolutely outstanding. And next to it there was this one as well, again another example of incredible quilting. I loved this one. This one was called Wedgwood Dancing, so inspired by Wedgwood plates, I imagine. And within the quilting you have dancing figurines. Just incredible, really inspiring, really makes me want to try to do more interesting quilting than I usually do. So I always love the quilt creations category. There were really nice jackets and waistcoats this year, as well as a chair and some really interesting objects, and I just loved the mannequin that was dedicated to Liberty. That was just fabulous. So let's look at the winners before I then show you that incredible quilt that I mentioned at the beginning. So this one was best in show, and it really was a beautiful quilt and definitely a worthy winner. This one won the pictorial quilts, and I love this one. I just thought it was really clever how the face was done and how it felt like it was emerging from the fabric. Really clever. And just before I show you my very favourite one, I'll just show you Jo Avery's exhibition. She had all of her incredible work there. It was displayed on the inside and the outside of her area, and it really was so wonderful to see that it really has an impact, her work, because the designs are so unique and the way she uses colour, just absolutely spectacular. So here is the quilt that we've all been waiting for, and this was definitely my favourite quilt, the one everyone was talking about. I thought it was incredible. It is made by a lady called Renate Kammer, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. It has 50,000, more than 50,000 quarter-inch hexagons in it, and it makes this underwater scene with so much detail in it. It was absolutely mind-blowing. You could stand and look at this for so long. It has so much detail in it. I will leave a link in the description box so you can go and check out Renate's Instagram page and her blog post, which is written in German, but you can go and check it out and see all of the detail about this quilt that she made over many years. And go and check her out on Instagram and follow along, because she really is so inspirational. And this was just, yeah, it really was the quilt that people were talking about. It left an impression. Just look at all the tiny seahorses and the fish and the dolphins and the colours. It's just, yeah, really detailed. And the fact that it's made from 1/4-inch hexagons is just absolutely incredible. This was my favourite. I think it deserved to win something. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon with the next video. Take care. Bye bye.